beautiful. How are you today? I'm Tisha Dolby, and welcome to Power, Passion, and Purpose, where every woman has the opportunity to discover your powers, your passions, and God's purpose for your life. We will be diving into healing, growing, and maturing and becoming all that God has for you to be. Tune in every week on Sundays at noon on the Boss Up Houston Network. I'll see you on the inside. Have a great day. Hi, beautiful. How are you guys doing this week? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you returned for another episode with me. I hope, my hope and prayer is that you received some information last week as we dove into the topic of love. This week we will be talking about support. But I just want to take this moment to say hi, how are you? How are you feeling? And I just want to make sure that you are all good. Too many times we get up and we start our day and we don't even think about asking the next person how they are doing and really embracing their response. A lot of the times we talk to speak, we listen to respond, but we don't listen to receive. And that's one of the big things that I like to focus on is hearing what the person needs or not just to have an answer. So that being said, I just want to welcome you guys and say it's a new day, it's a new week. One of my favorite days of the week, and not just because it's the day of the Lord, but also because it's the beginning of a new week. It's a fresh start. It's an opportunity to regroup, to reset, prepare for some goals, aspirations, and to dos. So, with that, welcome. today's topic is support. And when I was preparing for support, there were so many different directions I could have went with support. And I'm going to just start off with the definition, the Webster's definition, and then I'll piggyback it with my definition of how it looks. But it's very similar. But the Webster Dictionary says, and when it's used in the noun, that act or process of supporting, the condition of being supported, assistance provided by a company to users of products is customer support. One that supports, often used arbitratively, which is a supportive staff. The verb, when you use it as a verb, is to endure bravely or quietly, to bear. To promote the intents or cause of, to uphold, defend, validate, or right. Another word, advocate. To argue or to vote affirmatively means you support the cause. So when I look at these definitions and how they correlate to my life, I say, hence the reason why we remove labels, because support can leave you in a place of trauma, in a place of lack. If you are looking to people and looking to situations to fulfill something that it may or may not be qualified to do. And then on the flip side of that coin, you'll hear me talk about two sides of the coin a lot. On the other side, what support are you providing? So when you're going out to seek support, are you being that safe space for somebody? Are you being intentional? Are you being supportive? Are you upholding the standard that you're seeking? So that's the definitions that, they're not unknown. They're not unknown. They're not new. But because of people's perception of life and the things that happen in life, leaves us to have sometimes a skewed sense of what support is supposed to be and isn't supposed to be. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is I can't expect me out of somebody else unless we've had a conversation and they said, I can do this or I cannot do this. So now I can hold them accountable for what they said they was able to do or produce or provide. But what we tend to do is we falsely put things on people that aren't qualified or capable of supporting us. So with that being said, let's go into our first commercial break. I just wanted to take the time right here at the top of the show to introduce the topic and give some definitions of the topic as we get ready to dive deeper into the topic of support and what that looks like for me and from me. I cannot say that I expect it from everybody else unless they've come to me and said, yes, I can do this. So I will take a quick pause and see you guys when we return from this commercial break. Thank you.
Boss up, Houston, you know why? Right here.
Red Table Talk, the Estefans. Time to take the table to a whole new place.
It's coming to Miami.
3 different women, 3 different generations. We're loud, we're proud. Let's go.
We're talking about relationships, love, sexuality.
Oh my gosh. We all know that you are fuerte. Yes, I'm a tough woman, but I'm very vulnerable.
Like muchas Latinas.
In order to move forward, you have to go to those places.
I like boys. I like girls. I like both.
Honesty will set you free.
We are putting all of that on the table.
Red Table Talk, the Estefans.
Be a part of the conversation. Only on Facebook Watch.
Hello. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking in there with me as we dive into these different topics and go a little deeper. Today's topic again is support. And while we was out on commercial break, I was thinking about how to address our perception of that topic. We look to family for support. We look to friends for support. We look to our spouses for support. We look to our children to support. We look for our jobs. As all of these are sources to aid in support, but they are should never be your primary source of support. And when you top that with trauma, it brings in a lack of. When you are born into trauma, or you have been in traumatic situations, or you have abuse or addiction, alcoholism, broken marriages, it tends to cloud your view. And you start looking and putting unhealthy expectations on people, and it adds, what people don't understand, it adds to your feeling of brokenness, your feeling of lostness, your feeling of unworthiness, because we be seeking outside of ourselves to for these people to fill these gaps. And when it comes to brokenness, trauma, neglect, abuse, you already are fighting a losing battle. We were born into a world of brokenness, and then you have brokenness happen to you from those closest to you. And it can have you, and depending on the duration, it can have some lifelong lasting effects on how you view relationships, jobs, money, material possessions, and it can cause you to make choices and decisions that have an adverse effect instead of helping. So what we're going to go into right now is I'm going to share, I told y'all this, I'm very transparent. No topic is off the table for me. No question is off the table for me, because walking this journey of healing, growing, and maturing, and becoming all that God has called me to be, I had to look at my scars and own them. I had to be able to accept what I endured, what I overcame, and how it made me become who I am today. Like I always stress, I would never choose the life that I was given, but I honor it today. I wasn't always where I'm at today. I was torn, I was broken, I was shattered into a million pieces. But I always had inside of me this yearning and this feeling of, this is not how it's supposed to be. And I got to figure out how to get my peace, how to get my joy, how to become happy from within. Because being born to a teen parent, her capabilities was not of a mature person. And to be frank, she was broken. So how can I expect her to step up to the label of being a mother? But then also absentee father in his own broken family. So then we add in external people, aunties, uncles, grandparents, cousins, brothers, sisters, and all of these people where we think we're supposed to be able to look for support at our understanding aren't always capable. And that's why it's really, really important at a point in time in your life in your journey, you have to sit down with yourself and make a choice of, do I continue with what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've felt, how I'm feeling, or do I do something different? So, to share my quick testimony about support, and I'm going to cover the lack of support and also how God protected me and supported me. Because in this healing journey, you will see how even when man means it for evil, God will use it for good. Even in those dark days, he still covers and protects us. So, as I share all the time, I am a survivor of child abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, and loss of a child. So we can pick a gamut of either one of those and talk about this topic, because at any given time I had or didn't have support from my perspective of what that was supposed to look like. So as a victim of child abuse, the system did not work for me. Unfortunately, I was one of those children who was placed in the home for a little while, out of the home, in the home, out of the home, in a group home, in shelters, temporary placement, with family members, and ultimately they played up. I was that tennis ball, in and out, in and out, in and out, until I aged out of the system. Abuse started for me at 3 years old and didn't end until my mid-20s. So what I stress to you, it's work. It's work to decide, what does support look like? When I had so many things telling me what support wasn't, how do I find out what support truly is? And that was when I had to sit down and look at my life and see those opportunities where God saved me, where he kept me. Because every time I was removed, it was at a crucial point of the abuse. Now, ultimately, I did go back. And we're going to talk about that another day, because each and every time I went back, I was met with promises of things are going to be different. Things are going to change. Things have changed. So when you are striving and looking for relationships that you're a child. I want to be with my mom. What child doesn't? Even if it caused me more heartache and pain. I want the love of a family. I want to grow up with siblings. I want to do the family functions, go on outings, eat dinner together, talk to somebody about my school day, have somebody come support me in sports. Support. I'm struggling in school. Who do I talk to? I didn't have that, guys. And even the little bit that I did have was so broken that it wasn't helpful. It's hard when your support system are addicts, alcoholics, because they can only support you to an extent. So that's, growing up with that mindset, I had to grow up really quick. A lot of people don't understand my choices and decisions I make today because they don't understand. I had to live out of survival mode. I didn't have a supportive cast. I didn't have a supportive team. I had to figure it out and stand in my choices and decisions no matter what. because there were a lot of responsibilities and things that were put on me as a child that we are not supposed to have. There was no focus there. There was no protection there from the external. So that led me to seeking out what I knew. And what I know is I've had a relationship with the Lord. So I prayed, I stayed in church, I did a lot of church functions. Although they couldn't help me at home, they allowed me to learn how to get peace, how to forgive, how to love, how to see past their brokenness to the love of God, to see God in these people and places and situations. That's what I had to do. That's my testimony. That's what I stand on today. Anything and everything that comes up, I'm looking for God in it, because that's the only thing I had was my faith, was to figure out what is God doing in this season? What is God doing right now? And what am I supposed to do? So while I'm going to let you guys think about your childhood, your family, your situations, your parenting, how you are a friend, how you show up at work, how you show up in your circles of influence. How are you supporting? And how is your past influencing how you support? How is your perception of what you do subconsciously showing up in your support? And then we're going to take a break. And after this next break, what we're going to talk about is I'm going to take last week, because I believe in love, to this week with support. So we can go ahead and tap into some tangible solutions of support. So I will see you guys in a few minutes after our next break.
Hi, my name is Tanae, and I'm the owner of the Announcement Beauty Bar. Hi, welcome to the Announcement Beauty Bar. Essence, come on, follow me. Here at the Announcement Beauty Bar, we offer micro shading, eyelash extensions, and brow waxing. Please join us August 14th, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. for our grand opening, located at 9950 West Park Drive. Make sure you stop by to get brows that wow.
Maridate, Houston's first private social club for couples.
This is Jay Williams, and I am representing myself and my husband Christopher as the real couple for Maridate. We are super excited about this opportunity. But just to give you a little quick review of how we actually met. Chris and I met in 2001 as colleagues while working at a major insurance company here in Houston. 2 years later, we started dating because we met again at a club. Actually, it was just a party. It wasn't actually a club. Anyway, I felt hard for him and he felt hard for me. Whenever he would call, I would say, my husband's calling. So I feel like I manifested our relationship and I have no regrets of that. Christopher and I got married in 2006. We've had a bumpy road. It has not been all juices and berries, but it has been worth it. The love we have for each other is real and it's strong, and it is faith-based. And so we have been married for 15 years now. We have 2 adult children and 1 amazing grandson.
Join Maridate today by visiting www.maridate.com.
Wanna be a boss? You're watching Boss Up Houston Network. It's Boss Up Houston, where we look up, stay up, and boss up.
Welcome back, guys. How are you? So I just wanted to make sure that we are clear. You know, we cannot exist in this life without support. We're not meant to do life alone. And going through life and growing up in society alone, you have the computer, you have social media, you have your teachers, you got your mentors, you have your family who are all speaking into you. And when you are processing this information, we have to get to a point where we are taking it in and seeing if it fits with who we are at the core. So when I tell you guys that I was born into these situations and endured these situations, I really give it honor and praise. In the midst of it, I didn't understand. In the midst of it, I couldn't figure out from heads or tails, why is my uncle acting like this? Why is my mom doing this? Why is this? Why do I have to be here? But that's one of the things that I talk to my clients about shifting the perspective. Shifting to the perspective of not why is it happening to me, but how can I use this to help somebody else? And that's a part of what I do, is taking your ouches, taking your scars, taking your trauma, and learning how to process and loving and forgiving so you can use it now as a tool to help somebody else, to help someone else heal, to help somebody else's light bulb go up, to help somebody say, so this is why I'm so angry all the time. This is why when I'm triggered, I yell at you or I lash out. I call them adult temper tantrums. Because when we are triggered, what a lot of people don't understand, life is a trigger. But when you have trauma and you're triggered by a sound, a word, a situation, pressure, a loss of a job, your children acting out, it not only are you reacting, but you're going back to that initial trauma that put you in that triggered you. So you looking back at, oh my gosh. But when you have a person like me who can't even pinpoint which trauma is triggered, it makes it hard to trust, to receive even the positive, because you can't see it, because you can't hear it and you can't feel it. The normal things that you use to determine how to process and how to move through life, what's good and what's bad. When you have people, places, and things that are supposed to be safe and they become unsafe, it makes you question everything that comes behind it. That's why it's so important to make sure you're connected with yourself. It's so important to have somebody in your circle. And what I will share with you guys, a part of my circle is my children. They're the closest ones to me. They're the ones with me 24/7. So I can hear them. I can feel them. And they can penetrate anything that's going on in or around me. They have permission, which we don't talk about. Kids to stay in a kid's place, only speak when somebody asks you a question, don't be a part of adult conversations. But see, for me, they were a tool. My children helped me heal. You will hear me say this time and time again. They were pivotal. When I chose me, everything else came second. And when I chose me, that means I had to put a supportive cast together. My family is derived of friends, associates, mentors, people I've adopted. I will adopt you into my family real quick. For the simple fact, I became what I wasn't given. I became that supportive cast. You need somewhere to eat? Come on. You need some sleep? Come and take a rest. You need help with the kids? Don't you be over there struggling by yourself. Because I know what that's like. I lived it. I lived in an abusive relationship where I could reach out to absolutely nobody. One, I had isolated myself because I didn't trust nobody. Because everybody that I trusted harmed me. The schools, the family, the associates, the exes, because I couldn't see. I had no tools given to me growing up. When you live a life, a survival mode, it's very hard. And it leads down to a path of chaos, destruction. It doesn't allow you to walk in the freedom of owning everything about you, embracing it, because it all is necessary. Yes, there's choices and decisions we would change. Yes, but one thing we can't do is change the family we was born into. One thing we can't do while you were a minor, you cannot undo what was done to you. There's not amount of nothing that can be done today that can take away the abuse, that can take away the sexual assault, that can take away the neglect, that can take away the abusive parents, that can take away the alcoholism, that can take away. There's nothing I can say or do to take that away. But what I chose to do was figure it out. What I chose to do is forgive. What I chose to do was not condemn or judge. And in me being able to do those things, I created a safe space, not just for my healing, but I was able to carve out and structure how I wanted my life to look. Like I told y'all last week, I call it my sanctuary. So only thing that was allowed in my sanctuary, there was things that was going to edify, things that was going to make me happy, things that was going to bring me joy, things that was going to enhance my children's well-being, things that I like to do is what I started putting in place. But it all started with me saying, I choose. I choose life. I choose health. I choose freedom. I choose this. It doesn't erase anything. It just allows me to deal with the things of the past differently. It allows me to deal with people differently. It allows me to show up in tense situations and be the peace, be the calm, be that voice of reason, able to say, nah, we're not going to do it like this. stand in integrity, be reliable. See, because when we allow trauma, dysfunction, chaos to rule our life, it is manipulation. It's controlling us. It's controlling our choices. It's controlling our decisions. But see, when you choose to stand in peace, when you choose to walk in the fruit of the Spirit, when you choose to walk in happiness, that's what you're surrounded by. Life is going to be life because we live in a fallen world. We live in a broken world. We live in a broken society. We live in doggy dog, whatever you want to call it. But there is a way to show up and not allow these things to impact you so much it takes you out of character. So what we do is we implement certain tactics, tangible things where you can see your wins. When I work with my women or work with people in general, I tell them, count your wins. Count your wins. If you struggle with your weight, count your wins. Oh, and I tell people it's a lifestyle change. I don't do diets. At one point in time, I worried about it. My daughter tells me all the time, Mom, you're not big. But what she don't understand is from what I used to be, I'm big. But I'm not. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I'm content. I don't eat. When you put it in perspective, I don't eat unhealthy. I am almost 50. So I shouldn't be the same size I was when I was 12. I shouldn't be the same size I was when I was 16. So put it in perspective. If you are and you're struggling in that area, get you a support system that can hold you accountable to your goals. If you have financial goals, you want to go on vacation, learn how to save. Get you a support system that's going to hold you accountable to the goals that you set in life. Have that one or two people that are close to you that can call you out when you're slipping and you not get offended. That's the problem. We allow people to speak into us, but as soon as they say something that we're not comfortable with, we cut them off. I ain't got you to do, blocking them, deleting them, no longer friends with them because they spoke the truth. If it's spoken with love, if it's not coming from a place of judgment, if they're just holding you accountable for things that they know that you've been working on, then you should embrace that person because that person only is looking out for your best interests. They're not coming. I tell everybody, yeah, I'm going to tell you the truth. You might not like it. It might not feel good. You may very well get mad at me. And that's okay because I still love you. I'm still going to be here when you're no longer upset. You may cuss me out. You may not talk to me for a while, up to and including my children do it. But it's okay. They grew up in a house where they had a voice. They grew up in a house where they spoke their mind with boundaries, with respect, because I'm not always right. And I'm okay with that. I hear them out. They went to school, the teacher's not always right. They're on their job, the boss is not always right. Because we are human beings and we are flawed. We make mistakes. But when I tell my children, I tell my mentees, I tell my clients, if you stand in a place of integrity, and you speak life, and you tell the truth, and you show up the way that you're supposed to, when things happen, you can apologize and it be sincere. You can show up in a tense situation of chaos and conflict and still support to get the job done. I tell people all the time, I don't have to like you. I don't have to like your choices and decisions. I must love you. That's biblical. I have to love you. Because if I don't love you, that means I don't love God. And I love him with every being of me. So, to recap, to become supportive, to receive support, number one, you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge that there's an area that needs help. And you have to be willing, as I say, look in that mirror, look at the good, look at the bad, and take ownership of the choices and decisions you made that may have continued a cycle, started a cycle, or stopped. Process everything about that situation. And if it no longer serves you, get rid of it. If it needs to be added, add it. You're building a life of peace. You're building a life of love. You're building a life of support where you can now be counted on. Where those things that harmed you are now lessons. They're not a hindrance. They're not stumbling blocks to keep you from living your best life. They're not stopping you from moving forward. And be consistent. Lastly, everything we talk about take consistency. You must be consistent in any choice, in any decision. That's why it's very important to have wise counsel, accountability, have those people who can speak into your life and say, you done got off the track. Oh, you're slipping. Or they also are in place to be your best cheerleader. Nah, don't get down on yourself. Yeah, I know that was how it was in the past, but look at how much you've accomplished so far. I appreciate you. I see you doing the work. I'm here for you. I'm going to walk this thing out with you. You got this. Why? Because just as much as somebody needs to help self-correct you, help you, because they can't do it for you. They can help get you back on course. They are also there to encourage you to stay on course. So we're going to go and take our final break. And when we come back, I'm going to wrap this all up in a nice little bow for you, give you some announcements, and then, I just love when you guys some more. So I will see you in a couple minutes. Thank you.
Oh my God! I just got through watching a great show on Boss Up Houston Network. Have you heard? They're bossing up, okay? And I heard they're looking for you. Any podcasters, talk show hosts, if you're a writer or producer, we definitely need you. Come aboard and boss up.
Are you a small business owner that is struggling to promote your company?
Our topic today is, what's your status?
Shoot the dice at this point.
You just shoot the dice. Roll the dice.
So,
Yes.
Hey, how y'all doing? It's attorneys.
Victoria Blanco. I love it. Imagine being televised on a national platform. How about being a host or sponsor on a syndicated podcast? Or being featured on exclusive promotions and interview for your product to your ideal customer? Hi, I'm Kayla Sneed, and I'm head of sales with Boss Up Houston. And here at Boss Up, we like to help small business owners and entrepreneurs advertise, promote, or become a sponsor for one of our television, podcast, or radio shows. All you have to do is click the link down below to see if you qualify. I'll be seeing you soon.
This is Boss Up Houston, where we look up, stay up, and boss up.
guys liking this topic for today? Of course, as usual, we got to bring it in, chop it up a little bit, because, we'll be here all day. We can be here all day talking about support, the lack of support, becoming support. And it's just to get the wheels to spinning, to bring some ahas, to try to pinpoint why things keep happening in your life, or why things are not happening in your life. Why do you have these friends who are never there for you? Why do you have these family members that is always trauma or always drama with? Why? So when I look at this support thing, I look at it from the perspective, I give what I want. And when I give what I want to receive, it's easy for me to choose to walk away from situations that are not helping. That's what healing is about. Being able to take what was given to you, process it, take the good, discard the bad, and choose to move forward with positivity, to enhance. We're supposed to be always growing. One of the things that I tell everybody connected to me, you should learn something every single day. At least one thing. Even if it's a what not to say, what not to do, what not to accomplish. You should always be learning how to add to your toolbox, how to see a little clearer, how to understand at a deeper level. And in all of this, it's maturing you, it's shaping you in the person that you're supposed to be. One of the things that I tell people, yes, I have a to-do list. Yes, I have a whiteboard. Yes, I have visions. Yes, I have all of this. But what I focus on is what's at hand. What's at hand? What is my priority right now? Am I at an event? I am 100% focused on that event. If I'm sewing, I'm 100% focused on that thing that I'm working on. And that is helping you become the best you that you want to be. And when you do that and you look at where am I going, what do I need to do to accomplish it? It's not about accomplishing all 10 things. It's about focusing on the task at hand. Right now, right in this moment, at this particular time, I'm sitting here with you guys and I'm talking about support. This is part of how I show up. So I'm intentional about the things that I say. I'm intentional about my time with you. I'm intentional about preparing. So before we leave, as I always promise, I want to make sure that I give y'all some scripture, because y'all know I'm faith-based. Y'all know I believe in the Lord, and I'm always here to lead you back to Him. I'm always a support to help you find some things that I used in my journey. Some scriptures that I implemented in my daily devotions, in my time with the Lord, that have helped me process my hurts, that helped me see that if I got the support of the Lord and He is with me, I can accomplish anything no matter who else is not. And that's where I want to start. I want to start with some. I'm only going to give y'all the scripture. Yet again, we're not going to be reading it. But I want to give y'all some key scriptures to go back and review, look at it with a fresh set of eyes, and see how it resonates and if you get a revelation or a deeper understanding after hearing some of this. So one is Isaiah 41, verse 10. And that one is basically talking about not fearing, that God is my strength. He upholds me. So It don't matter what the world says and what the world doesn't. God got my back. Matthew 6:31-34. I'm not to focus on what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to drink, what I'm going to wear. God knows what I need. He knows what I need, and he's going to be my provider. He always there. It never fails. John 16:33. The word tells us we will have trials and tribulations, but God will give us peace. He will give us peace. He graces us to make it through any and every situation with physical support or not. Philippians 4:6-7. And that one is basically covering our prayer. When we talk to God, we don't have to be anxious. We just lay our cares with him. We go to him, and he's going to give us peace yet again. Because, like I said, he knows what we need before we even ask. Psalm 34:8. Taste and see. This is one of my favorite scriptures because it's like try him. Try him at his word, and you will see if you're willing. Proverbs 3:5-6. Lean not to my own understanding. I'm not to try to figure everything out before I move, before I walk, before I choose. So when it comes to you supporting others, Galatians 6:5, we are to carry other people's burdens. We are to be a safe space. The word tells us that. If you choose. But if you don't, just continue to see the results of it. John 15:12. I'm to love you. I told you, I don't have to condone, I don't have to like, but I do have to love. Matthew 5:42. God gives to those that has. So if we are out and we are somebody's answer, we are to be the answer for someone. Somebody's crying, somebody's praying, someone's seeking God for help, and you are somebody's answer. Proverbs 19:17, we will always have the poor amongst us. So we are our brothers and sisters' keepers. So, those are just a few that I wanted to tap into. And there's plenty more. There are so many more. But these are just a few scriptures to just help you in processing support. He is the source. He provides a resource. And you are somebody's resource. So while I walk through life and as I continue to operate and do those things, that's always what's on my heart. That's always on my mind. What is my heart motive? Am I doing this for self, or am I doing this because I'm supposed to? I don't care about accolades. I don't care about a huge following. I don't care about stages. I truly and dearly care about your love, about you growing, about you healing, about you maturing, about you becoming everything that is you're supposed to be, because it's bigger than you. You have people assigned to you that you're supposed to be helping and speaking into and pouring into. I love that. I love that. It's not about me. It's bigger than me. So with that being said, I know next week, guys, I need y'all to tune in next week. We got an amazing telethon that we will be hosting here at Boss Up Houston Network from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I want y'all guys to get on there. We're going to be praising the Lord. We're going to be giving scripture. We're going to be coming from our own perspective. There is a whole team of us coming together to feed you guys, to pour into you guys, to empower you guys, to uplift you guys. So I want you to tune in. We will be here. I hope you will be here. And then the following week, I will be back at my scheduled time for my next episode. But I just want you guys to know that God loves you, and so do I. I love you with the agape love of God, and I will see you guys soon. I love you. Bye-bye. Hi, beautiful. How are you today? I'm Tisha Dolby, and welcome to Power, Passion, and Purpose, where every woman has the opportunity to discover your powers, your passions, and God's purpose for your life. We will be diving into healing, growing, and maturing, and becoming all that God has for you to be. Tune in every week on Sundays at noon on the Boss Up Houston Network. I'll see you on the inside. Have a great day.